Hey violas, this lesson is designed to teach you the names of the notes on the Alto Clef staff. It's similar to a lesson that I taught early in the year, but I think there's some students that may have not fully grasped it, or as they've learned to play, they've gotten really good at seeing the notes in the staff and knowing which fingers to put down on which string without really knowing what the names are called. And knowing what the notes are called is crucial for being able to talk about music in a way that lets you understand it and lets other people understand what you're talking about. Now, this lesson is only for viola players. If you play an instrument that is not viola, this lesson is likely to be very confusing to you. You need to find the one that has the right clef for your instrument, either treble clef or bass clef. And it's not for students that already understand note names. If you're getting upwards of 90% on every single note name test that I give, you probably don't need this activity at all. You already understand how the notes are named, and more importantly, you know how to figure out the names of notes you don't already know how to play. If you only can name the notes you do know how to play, then watching this video is probably beneficial because it helps you figure out the names of notes that you might not otherwise recognize. All right, so to begin with, you all play viola, and viola music is always written in the alto clef. The alto clef is this shape at the beginning of the staff. And we're going to use this clef to help us figure out the names that go on the staff here. In order to name the notes, we need to understand the musical alphabet. In the musical alphabet, we just have these 7 letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, there's obviously more than 7 notes we can play in our violas. What happens if I have a note that's higher than G? Well, the alphabet starts all over again at A, and then I can go through the alphabet again. Oops. And what note is lower than A? Well, I can see here that lower than this A is G. So what's lower than this A? Another G. What's higher than this G? Another A. It can go forever in both directions. Or I could write it in a circle, although the software I'm using doesn't lend itself to drawing circles very well. Now, once we understand that the notes are named for these 7 letters, we can figure out where to put them on the staff. On a staff, all of the notes can either be on lines or spaces. So I'm using the arrow keys of my keyboard to move this cursor up and down. You can see here that the cursor is on the bottom line of the staff, second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line. And then there's 4 spaces, this space, bottom space, second space, third space, and fourth space. So the notes are always either in lines or spaces. You've all noticed, I'm sure, that sometimes notes are written lower than the bottom of the staff if we're playing the C string, and even below the staff, space, line, space. And above the staff, if we go up to the high D in our D scale, space, line, line. So there's lines and spaces even above the staff. These little portable lines that get added in are called ledger lines. Now, in our book, we probably learned some trick like this, that if I draw in all of the notes on the lines, we can see that they are F, A, C, E, and G. And the publisher probably told us something like, fat alley cats eat garbage. Fat alley cats eat garbage, F-A-C-E-G. And we probably also got a trick like this for the notes that are in spaces, that good boys do fine. And that gives us the names of all the notes in the spaces. Now, this trick works great for notes that are actually in the staff. I don't like the trick very much, though, because it doesn't help you figure out the notes that are above and below the staff. And it gives you the impression that the notes tend to skip around at random. And music is anything but random, and music is written so that it makes sense. In fact, all of the lines and spaces of any staff, whether you're playing bass, alto, or treble, come in alphabetical order. So this shape here, the alto clef, it has this arrow in the center that's pointing to the middle line of the staff. So I know that the middle line of the staff is going to be the letter C. C clef is another name for alto clef. So here's a C in the middle line of the staff. Now, if I know that the notes come in alphabetical order, the space that's higher than C is a D, the line higher than D is an E, higher than E is F, higher than F is G. And I can keep on going because I told you lines and spaces continue. So higher than this G, what's higher than a G? Oh, the alphabet starts over. It's an A. A, B, C, D. And that's about as high as we usually have to play in beginning orchestra. 7th and 8th grade violists, obviously you guys know how to play a bit higher now that we're playing in 3rd position. Now the same thing works going backwards. If I know the middle line of the staff is C, now I got to be able to do the alphabet backwards. Lower than C is a B, lower than B is an A, lower than A is a G, lower than G is F, lower than F is E, lower than E is D, lower than D is C, and that's literally as low as we can play on the viola because our lowest string is the open C string right here. So if I know that the notes come in alphabetical order and I know that the middle line of the staff is a C, no matter what note I show you, you should be able to count through the lines and spaces and figure out the name of that note on the staff. Now that you've watched all this, you're ready to attack exercises in Tone Savvy or in musictheory.net that I might assign that ask you to name notes. I'll post a PDF that has some of this information on it so that you can refer to that when you're working on those exercises. And what you'll find is pretty soon you don't need to refer back to that because you're already going to know it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you soon.